So I had three gambling decisions to make yesterday. Now, hold it. Let me just stop you right there. I know a lot of you that are customers of mine, you're going, Al, you only had two plays yesterday, and that is true. Two plays here on the site, but I had three gambling decisions I had to make, and I'll explain why. Now, here at the site, I was a genius with that first 10-dime release on the Cubs. John Lackey's return to Busch Stadium against the Cardinals exactly when as planned. I wasn't so smart with that 10-dime play on the Oklahoma City Thunder, and I don't know what the hell happened to the Thunder last night. Oh, my God. How do you lose that game? How do you not show up as a double-digit favorite after demolishing the Mavericks in game number one? Mavericks, a short-handed, injury-riddled team, and they win the game outright? I mean, this is better than anything Mark Cuban did probably on Shark Tank this year. My other gamble was this. Yesterday morning, I don't play the stock market a lot, because to me, gambling in the market is a little too much. Listen, I don't mind gambling here. This is what I do. I research the games. I like making the informed decisions, and it's fun. And I do it 365 days a year. The stock market, I don't have time to really gamble in there. So I'm a very conservative investor. Very conservative. High-grade municipal bonds, all laddered out to well after I'm dead. Annuities out my rear end, well after I'm dead, they'll be taking care of my survivors. But every now and then I like to make some stock plays. So yesterday, the decision I had waiting to me, the other gamble was this. Do I sell Netflix and take the profit, or do I gamble that their first quarter earnings report after the bell is going to be positive and it's going to make that stock climb even more? Well, what a mistake I made on that. If you thought the Oklahoma City Thunder was a bad pick, keeping Netflix yesterday was even worse. From yesterday to today, I've lost a little over $1,600, which I can tell you, I haven't lost $1,600 making a sports bet in maybe ever. My God, should have gotten rid of that thing. But that's the beauty of it. It's a 50-50 decision. I've often told different financial advisors I've encountered over the years that, they're basically handicappers. They're, analyzing stocks and mutual funds, and based on their information gathered, they're making a investment choice for you. And they've got a 50-50 chance of winning, just like I do. Of course, most of these guys don't really take too kindly when I say that they're no different than handicappers. Okay, let's get busy here. Did hit 2 out of the 3 complimentary plays yesterday. Gave you a winner on the Raptors. Gave you a winner on the Minnesota Twins. Loser with the Golden State Warriors, but hey, can't win them all, In terms of the NBA playoffs, Dogs, after talking about how the favorites and the double-digit blowouts were so dominant the first 2 days, Dogs go 2-1 last night, with the Rockets being the other puppy to cover. Favorites are now 6-5 so far in the postseason. Last night, 2 of the 3 games stayed under. The only one going over, Golden State and Houston. So the under has been the dominant play through 11 games so far. The under has been the winning ticket on 8 occasions. Tonight, I'm going to go ahead and lay the points with Atlanta against Boston. You had a tale of 2 halves for Game 1 in the Celtics and Hawks series. The Hawks jumping out to the big lead. They were up by, 19 points at one stage, and then with 6 minutes and so 48 seconds to play in the game, suddenly Hawks were down by 3 points as the Celtics used a small ball attack and got back into the game. Isaiah Thomas was just unstoppable. And yet, Atlanta did manage to squeeze off the 102-101 win, a game that was made, that final deficit, the 1-point deficit for the Celtics was made that way because Isaiah Thomas hit a 3-pointer with 0.4 of a second to go on the clock. But either way, the Hawks failed to get the cover. Now, what came out of that game is that Avery Bradley suffered a really bad hamstring injury, and he's probably going to be out tonight and probably for the rest of this series, no matter how long it goes. But you look at the box score and you look at some of the dynamics in game number 1. In that game, Al Horford and Jeff Teague and Kent Bazemore, outstanding. They combined for 70 of the Hawks' 102 points. Kyle Korver, remember how he struggled last year in the postseason? No show again. 1 for 10 from the field, okay? 0 for 7 with 3-pointers. Paul Millsap, who has been so steady and consistent all season long for the Hawks, he only had 14 points and he needed 11 shots to get them. Hawks did dominate in the paint, 52-36 advantage, because they controlled the boards against the smaller Celtics, who were even smaller once they went to the small lineup to get back into the game and ultimately take that short lead. Will Millsap have another bad game? Will Korver go 0 for 10 again? Will the Hawks continue to dominate on the boards? And will the Celtics be weaker minus Avery Bradley? I say yes to all those questions, and that's why I'm willing to lay the points with Atlanta here in this game. I'm going to talk about the San Antonio contest in just a moment. Let me give you the free baseball selection. I'm going to go with the Cardinals tonight at home against the Cubs after going against St. Louis last night. The Cubbies are going with Jason Hammel. Listen, Hammel, tale of two seasons for him last year, to use a phrase once again in this video report. Pre-All-Star break last year, he had a 2.86 earned run average in 17 starts. After that, 5.10. After the All-Star break, his earned run average was in 14 starts. First two starts this season, surprise, surprise, 0.75 ERA. Going against the Cardinals, Garcia, who's coming off a complete game, one-hit shutout of Milwaukee in his last start at home, where he pitched exceptionally well last season, had a career-high 13 strikeouts in that game. Last year, had a earned run average, I think, of 2.43 pitching at Busch Stadium. I think tonight, you got to go with the Cardinals in this one. They're the 120 favorite. I think they bounce back and even this series at a game apiece because I just like the pitching matchup with Garcia against Hammel. Now, let's talk about the Spurs and the Grizzlies. The Spurs should dominate these guys. I mean, the Grizzlies are a ragtag group of guys who were just thrown together. I mean, I think they set an NBA record for most players going through their active roster for a regular season. I think it was 28 or 29 players. Some of these guys, you know, they're 8th, 9th on most teams' benches. Some of them should be in the D League probably. But hey, Grizzlies are playing with the card that is dealt them. And you saw what happened in game number 1 when Vince Carter, 39-year-old Vince Carter, had 16 points. Lance Stevenson, a guy who can't hit the broadside of the barn most times, was the second leading scorer with 14 points. Those two guys were the only double-digit scorers for the Grizzlies, who, of course, are without Mike Conley, their starting point guard, without Marc Gasol. You know, those two guys you don't expect, had 30 of their 74 points, and that's why they lost 106-74. Spurs shot 52%, just absolutely toyed with them. Leonard had 20 and 29 minutes. Aldridge had 17 and 27 minutes. Spurs 42-1 at home, 5-0 in the season series. They should win this game easily and cover the spread by 18 tonight. I wouldn't bet it. Let me ask you this. Now, the Spurs are the aging team. You've seen how Greg Popovich has managed the minutes of his stars all season long. He knows he's going to beat the Grizzlies. They don't want to have happen to them what happened to the Thunder last night, because the key for San Antonio is to have efficiency in the opening rounds of the playoffs in case they have the tougher series against the Clippers, the Warriors, maybe even the Thunder down the road, okay? So they want to take care of business, get this one over, and sweep the Grizzlies. They should get a big lead tonight. Are you going to invest your money on possibly the Spurs bench to get you the cover? In a game that the Spurs should win handily and may not care about the margin, a game in which Popovich could possibly pull the starters early. So sure, San Antonio is the way I would play the game, but I would never put money on it. But I wanted to pass that along. So your official complimentary plays, ladies and gentlemen, going with the Cardinals and also with the Atlanta Hawks. And that'll do it, guys. I wish you well, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow when we do this one more time.